another question. Will all this negative press taint her reputation? Will it taint it for all these brands that she's so excited to advertise for? I mean, people like, Colin Kaepernick and them, get themselves disgraced, and some of these people have lost deals because they've disgraced themselves in different ways. So I would think all this bad publicity is not the best thing for all the merchandising deals that she hopes to gain. So we'll see. I mean, it could trigger people to say, oh, we're going to boycott if this company gets her. So Disney better watch out. They might get a boycott. We shall see. At least in the UK, their sales may drop. That would be funny if they did. Oh, yes. And the one fellow who wanted to defend Meghxit said that, oh, Meghan hasn't dropped her friends. She still has, Serena Williams. She still has Oprah. And just who are those women? Very, very rich. Very, very famous. I think he would have done better if he had mentioned a few simple childhood friends of Meghan's that she still has that are poor and can't help her. But right now, these really mega-rich celebrities still are her buddies, best buddies, because she's still an opportunist, and they are opportunists, and they want to use each other. But I just wonder how long her super-rich buddies will hang on to her whenever she is poor, when she loses all her income from the taxpayers. So that remains to be seen. So also, like I said, the leftists, they're like, oh, why is everyone so angry at Meghan? I said, no, let's try to put this in an example that you might understand. It would be kind of like congressmen and senators from America saying, we want to go spend part of our time in another country. And we'll come over here once in a while to vote, but we'll spend part of our time in another country. Does that make sense? They're obviously not discharging their duties. They're obviously showing a disrespect for their home country, for the people who elected them. How are they going to keep in touch with their voter base if they are living part-time in another country? So you see what I mean? This is a comparable example. So I'm saying you cannot be in the government of one country and say you're going to go spend most of your time in another. So there's a fine line. And you'll say, oh, it's Canada, it's Canada. Yeah, but it's still, no, if you're representing England, you got to be in England. If you're representing Canada, you got to be looking after the interests of the people of Canada. You can't do that. No. So that's an example for that. Alright, I think I've finally gotten to the end of my massive list, and probably while I'm making this video, more developments have occurred, but I had to get a chance to sit down and make it. So, basically, the left-wing Antifa fans, they think, oh, she's just a poor little thing that is put upon and a victim of racism. Seriously. They keep playing the race card because it's all they have. And incidentally, she's only got half a race card. Only half. So she can't play a full one. And those who are saying that, oh, Harry needed to move out of his parents' home. He wasn't living in his parents' home, you dolt. What about Frogmore Cottage? Frogmore Cottage was his own little mansion. So, I mean, if you think he should get in another palace, that's up to you. But he wasn't living at home with Charles and Camilla, and he wasn't living with the Queen. He had his own place. So let's put that felonious, ridiculous argument from the left to rest. And I believe we can debunk pretty much all the left's arguments about this case. The monarchists and the conservatives will consider that she was declaring an act of war on the monarchy, act of war on Britain. So this is a new concept of individuals waging war on an entire country. So it's a big deal, and I've explained to you why this is a multi-level scandal between so many different countries on an international level with implications far-reaching. So it's not for love leftists because people are predicting divorce in the cards coming up. But we will see. We will see. Besides the royal family and the British people, another more niche victim of Meghan and Harry are the people of the town of Sussex themselves, because they are having their name dragged through the mud, and I'm sure that they are sensitive about that as well. I know not too long ago there was somebody in Sussex that had a petition to have their titles removed. Now I'm sure they really would like their titles to be removed, because actually it would be an embarrassment to have their town merged out in the public and around the world by these two schemers. So I definitely have sympathy with the people of the town of Sussex. Away from the royal family, they will lose all their protections from the press, and the press will be able to examine every teeny, eensy-weensy bit of their lives and be able to photograph them hanging outside their bathroom, and probably even, get pictures of them sticking their head out the car windows and in the most unflattering poses and the most unflattering faces. So they worried about the press before. Without the protection of the royal family, the press is going to make mincemeat out of them. So this shows you what absolute greed can bring you to poverty, and that's where they're going to head if they continue on this trajectory of absolute greed and disregard for everyone. Apparently, they're even trying to blackmail the entire nation by saying they will do interviews and saying a bunch of nasty things about the royal family, about the government, and it's really pathetic. I don't think we've ever had an individual or a couple in the history of the world that went to war on an entire country, commonwealth, all by themselves, just armed with the victim card, determination, narcissism, and audacity. But this is what we are witnessing right now. So we sincerely hope that the royal family and the British government make a good showing of it and put them in their proper places. Of course they'll play the race card. They are leftists and liberals. And leftist liberals only know how to play the race card because they have no evidence, and that's their only means of getting sympathy. That is absolutely rubbish, saying that the royal family was racist against Meghan. If they were racist, they would have shown her the kitchen door the very first time Harry brought her home to meet them. She would never, ever have made it down that aisle if they were racist. So, you leftists, just stop your nonsense. You're making things up. What leftists mean when they accuse someone of racism means they were not given everything they asked for. So their version of racism is if somebody from another race asks you for something and you don't give it to them, if you don't give them every demand, you're a racist. There couldn't be any other explanation. Just perfect illustration of how these leftists are closed-minded, mentally shallow, to begin with. Of course, the Queen will try to do damage control because for her it's a family matter as well as a matter of state. They have to preserve the dignity of the family and the dignity of the government and the dignity of the country. It's a tricky deal to do. But one thing is certain. The general public has seen what kind of a person Meghan is. And the people of Sussex, I'm sure, will probably almost have a unanimous petition to remove their titles at this point. I think this experience is going to taint the Sussexes beyond repair. The only people that would buy their products would be Antifa and people in the far, far left. People who do not have any loyalty to anyone but themselves. People who do not care about family, about friends. People who believe that if you're not happy, just walk out. If you don't like your husband, walk out. You don't like your kids, walk out. You don't like your family, walk out. You don't like your business, walk out. And as for her voiceover deal with Disney, in the comments section of one of the videos, someone asked, rather nastily, what is she going to voice? A wicked witch? That struck me as funny. But also, don't forget that Disney also regularly has opportunities for voiceovers of wicked queens. Perhaps Meghan should have chosen a different company to start her merching life with. The comparisons people can draw from this are rather embarrassing. Well, some final notes. Thinking about the line of succession, if Harry removes himself and his son, then, and of course I guess Andrew is removed practically because he is disgraced as well, that would move up Beatrice and Eugenie in the line of succession, so maybe that would make the taxpayers feel a little bit better about paying for her wedding. So that's just the final closing remarks. It's been very interesting to watch this whole thing explode. I said, I, as a casual royal watcher, am quite fascinated by what's going on. It's big, big, big. So in the meantime, watch Murky Meg and watch Celt News, and even check out Dr. Steve Turley's video on Meghxit and the clash between liberalism and tradition, the monarchy. So, all right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.